G'day mate, 40 here. So apparently there was a big movement to canonize G.K. Chesterton, the Anglo-Catholic writer of the early 20th century. And there's a new book or two out on Chesterton detailing how much he was enslaved to his less talented, less able, less moral brother Cecil, and how much G.K. Chesterton fell under the sway of an inferior writer, Hilaire Belloc, and how much Chesterton gave in to his brother's wife, Ada. So I could probably, off the top of my head, recall dozens of stories of people who've fallen under the sway of morally and intellectually inferior family members and friends and community members. So love and connection is really scary because it is so intoxicating. It feels so good. It gets you in its snares, and then you compromise everything that you might otherwise stand for. So in that eternal divide between selling out who you are to maintain connection and selling out your connections to follow the dictates of your own conscience, I guess I fall out much more on the side of I want to follow my own conscience. That's how I've led my life. So I hear people like Dennis Prager say they've never lost a friend, and I'm somewhat envious of them. On the other hand, I don't know how you could maintain intellectual honesty and not shatter some important relationships. And then what if you start to suspect that a family member is a serial killer, like that guy in Long Island, the architect who was just arrested for his serial alleged murders of various prostitutes. Now, one thing that stands out to me in the accounts of that family is how miserable they were. Right? There's no joy and no evidence of some strong connection that led to joy and to the normal delights of family in that particular family. They didn't have people over. They weren't bonded with the rest of the community. They just seemed particularly miserable. But man, I read book after book, article after article about people of great moral character, prescience, wisdom, strength, insight, courage, who are continually weakened, who are unable to stand up to the calls of relations, calls of family, calls of friendship. So they sell out who they are. Not in line, mate. So when you have that close bond with people, it's so tempting to start selling yourself out. I mean, I know what it's like to have the long stream in the chat saying, oh yeah, you're out, loving what you're doing, when I'm saying something anti-establishment, when I'm saying something critical of certain Jewish institutions, right? There's just an audience out there to be captured if you give the anti-establishment line, if you say that the accepted things are not actually true, if you say that our institutions are doing a terrible job and letting us down and betraying us, right? And it can feel bad, right, when the whole audience turns against you because you're not giving them what they expect and what they hope for. But then you develop friendships, and then those friends will turn on you often if you're turning out daily live streams and you're not in alignment with their perceptions of life. So I think of all these examples on the side of people selling out what they see to be true, what they believe to be true, selling out their wisdom and their clarity for the sake of maintaining relations. What about people who sell out their most important relations to follow what they believe to be true? Right? What are the most prominent stories of people who follow what they believe to be true even though the heavens fall? I don't know, is that my father's story? Perhaps that's dear old dad's story. But then I know how many times he compromised He just made it a habit to compromise, to not say things that would offend his audience, meaning his base of financial supporters. So he was selectively willing to alienate certain people and not alienate other people.